Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Syama Sundar Radha, Syama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranityay, Jaya Gauranityay, Jaya Gauranityay, Jaya Gauranityay, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Panchatattva, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय, हर नाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गुरुदेव की जय. हरे कृष्ण माता जी. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. If someone else wants to do Kirtan, they are free for it because our speaker is joining. So just 2-3 minutes. Anyone else? Okay, Anusuya Mataji, you can continue for 2-3 more minutes.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Hare Bol. Thank you, Anasuya Mataji. Thank you very much.
Thank
So
you.
we welcome His Grace Premtata Gaudas Prabhu. He's here now. So Prabhu, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sorry, first of all, last Tuesday my son was not well, so I really practically didn't sleep the whole night, and I I slept late, so I could not inform all of you. So sorry for that, and we have to compensate, and that's the reason why a lot of people might not be joining today. So, but whatever, we should continue preaching. So I'm just trying to resume my services where I left. Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Yashodanandan Brajajan Ranjana, Yashodanandan Brajajan Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Jayo Radha Ras Bihari Radha Ras Bihari Radhe. Jayo Radha Govind Radha Govind Radhe. Jayo Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe. Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Shri Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Radhe Jayo Shri Radhe 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 Govind 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 Radhe Govind Bolo Hari Gopal Bolo Govind Bolo Hari Gopal Bolo Radha Raman Hari Govind Bolo Radha Raman Hari Govind Bolo Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Swami Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Baladev Subhadra Mai Jaya Sudarshana Jayo Narsinghadev 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 Jaya Narsinghadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj भक्त प्रहलाद प्रहलाद महाराज जय भक्त प्रहलाद जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Shila Prabhupada ki Jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Today we are going to read and discuss and interactively the Shrimad Bhagavatam Canto 2, verse 10, text 20. I think that's I've been given 20 to 24. I hope this is correct, Mataji's.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, I got displaced, so I just wanted to get confirmed. So we'll, so as per how usually I, try to share this, and some of you who have attended regularly must have seen that I just take the first shloka on my own, and then we'll go quickly, so you can decide all the Matajis. And I would request if any Prabhu is also there today. Probably we have a less audience today. It's all because of my mistake. So you can give the names to coordinator Mataji. I think Narayani Kripa Mataji is there, so you can give your names to her, and then all the rest of the shlokas you all can read, and we'll continue discussing the things. So Shrimad Bhagavatam 2.10.20, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nasike nirabhidyetam dodhuyati nabhasvati tatra vayur gandhavaho grano घ्राणो नाशी जिगृक्षतः. Any Prabhus or Matajis would like to recite this just quickly, and then I'll move ahead.
Chandana Mataji,
Yes, Mataji.
you
May
have
I-
raised first. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare.
नासिके निरभिद्येतां दोधूयति नभस्वति तत्र वायुर्गन्धवाहो घ्राणो नासि जिघ्रक्षतः.
Hari Hari. Nashike, in the nostrils. Nirabhiddetam, being developed. Dodhuyati, rapidly blowing. Nabhaswati, air respiration. Tatra, thereupon. Vayu, air. Gandhavaha, smelling odor. Granaha, sense of smell. Nasi, in the nose. Jigkshataha, desiring to smell odors. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, when the Supreme Purusha desired to smell odors, the nostrils and respirations were generated. The nasal instrument, the nasal, whatever way you want to pronounce, instrument and odors come into existence. And the controlling deity of air carrying smell also become manifested. So here in this translation, if you hear the word Supreme Purusha, the Purusha means enjoyer, and Supreme means the ultimate enjoyer. For if somebody claims to enjoy anything, then nobody can beat Krishna, because he has created this concept called as enjoyment. So what to talk about who will enjoy? So the concept of enjoyment is an experience a soul undergoes. Now Krishna is a super soul, and he has created, and since he enjoys, all his part and parcel also want to enjoy. So like that, the Supreme Purusha, the supreme enjoyer, creates all of us who also have the tendency of Krishna to enjoy. The whole issue starts is that when we start feeling that we manifest for our own enjoyment. That's the only problem. I have discussed this matter with a lot of senior devotees, that we take Harinam and remember Krishna so much here. And why it is said that when we go into the spiritual world, the spiritual name takes a back place, is then what devotees told me that, yes, that's the reason why. Because you are directly, actively in a very, in the soul's original form. Soul is originally Krishna's part, a piece of Krishna. So Krishna is completely above the kind of material concept what we think this world is. So all the activities are exactly the same way. So like we also are complete and full in enjoyment with Krishna when we join Krishna. It's like nail, which is part of the body, becomes almost like complete in the body. But the nail without the body, it can be thrown. So when you cut the nails, you throw them, you don't keep them in. It's no use. So same way, our stage in material world is that we are meant for Krishna, but we are meant for ourselves also, because he has created us separately from him. That's the importance. But our existence is for the pleasure of Krishna. And that is why Krishna is known as supreme pleasure seeker. We are all seeking pleasure, but he's supremely seeking pleasure. And he's very mature, and he's very, very very, how you should say, he's very magnanimous. He has created the souls exactly like him. And so all the characteristics, what he manifests eternally for every time, we exhibit the same. But in spiritual world, we tend to take something granted. And that's the reason why he has to create the material world. And so this description, what is given here, is the cosmic manifestation. So simply, Krishna never wanted to send all of us out and create some other material world. He was happy with his Goluka. But then we took somewhere. So there can be various degrees to why we came down or why Krishna had to create this material world. But it's basically conflict of interests in terms of enjoyment. When we enjoy, not realizing that Krishna's enjoyment is our enjoyment, and Krishna realizes my children's enjoyment is my enjoyment, when this equilibrium is disturbed, and of course this disturbance happens from our end. But very deep devotees have told me is that Krishna is complete, we are also complete, then why do we behave sometimes like incomplete? It's because of Krishna's own variety of pleasure and all that. Somebody asked me a question. If Krishna is so good, so complete, why did he create souls who could think other than him also? And that's why we are suffering here. And then I asked this question, and I said, beautiful question. I mean, he is complete, we are complete. Then why do we even temporarily show this? And that's why he had to create, and this nose trills and all this is coming, and cosmic manifestation is coming, and so much of explanation. Then they said, yeah, I mean, he's God, but then he gives us some minute independence, and then minute independence because he has complete independence. So he makes his souls also give that portion of that independence and misuse it. And he cannot disturb that. He doesn't want to disturb. Otherwise, it will be robotic. It will be programmed. And amazing. I said, yes. And that freedom is, when misutilized, he takes it in a very encouraging way. He doesn't take it in a very discouraging way. That's the reason why he's created such a beautiful. Sometimes they say that material world is like a jail, but believe me, I've been to a jail, not that I've been put into a jail, but I have visited the jail outside, and some passport related issue, and I could see the police station for verification. I saw some jails. Jail is something very, very, I mean, it's not a good place to stay in. And we say material world is a jail. Oh my God, our Krishna is such a big enjoyer that he has jailed us in this world, but this jail is beautiful. Beautiful jail he has created, because he wants to enjoy us even in that stage when he's resurrecting us, because he's so confident, he's so full of power. He has everything under his control. So that's what I understand from these two words in the translation. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The nasal instrument, odor, and the controlling deity of air, smelling, etc., all become manifested simultaneously when the Lord desired to smell. Now, this first sentence itself completes the entire sonam bonum of his creation. The nasal instrument, odor, controlling deity of air, smelling, all become manifested simultaneously when the Lord desired to smell. What does that mean? Lord desired us to be created, so we exist eternally. Lord desired us to have some small independence, so that existed. And we misutilized it. That also somewhere Lord said, okay, let them misutilize it, because I decided to be given them the free will. And now I only tell them not to exercise that free will. So in a way, that is why he's known as Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is known as. He's the cause of everything. He's like the supreme reservoir of desires. So we are also the creation of his desires. And within that, we had the capability of desire, and we desired that I don't want to see the face of Krishna. Everywhere, Krishna, Krishna. He's God. Why not I, God? Or maybe a lot of lectures, people give hundreds of reasons, but it can be any subtle reason or any magnanimous reason. The reason is somewhere Lord is helping us. And so he knows that these people have to be corrected somewhere. So he's desiring. So this is what it is he's saying. He's desiring to be given us a place for resurrection. So the Vedic mantras confirm the statement in the Upanishads, statement that everything is first desired by the Supreme before the subordinate living entity can act upon it. The living entity can see only when the Lord sees. The living entity can smell when the Lord smells, and so on. So the living entity can desire as when the Lord desires. Living entity can backstab Krishna because Lord wants to backstab Krishna himself. Maybe, but we're not supposed to speculate. So we refrain going to those directions. But I have heard devotees asking this question, is that we have got contaminated. This is also because of Lord's desire. And that's where it's a very delicate subject. So this is where, when everything exists because of Krishna's desire, we are existing without Krishna's desire. We cannot exist. Nothing exists without Krishna. So then I discussed this, and then devotee said, look, Krishna wants to have variety, and that's why all this is happening. Otherwise, can God create something which will go against his wish? Never. But that, again, minute independence comes in picture. So this is a very important concept, my dear Prabhus and Matajis. Please, if the more we know about this, we will respect Krishna more and will respect the variety of devotees around us. We just cannot cage everybody into one mold and say everybody should behave like this. Not really. Not really. So the Vedic, and even among the devotees, forget what about who are not practicing devotion currently. The Vedic mantras confirm the statement. And the living entity can see only when the Lord sees. The living entity can smell when the Lord smells, and so on. The idea is that living entity cannot do anything independently. He can simply think of doing something independently, but he cannot act independently. This independence in thinking is there by the grace of the Lord. Exactly. This is what I was about to say this, and I was actually mentioning this, is the capability to desire. Krishna has given us the capability to desire, but we cannot really make it happen. Like, for example, I have a desire to fly. There are many people who have desire to become astronauts and what do you say, pilots, and they want to be jet flyers. And I know a couple of my friends who desire, and one of my friend has actually become a pilot in one of the very famous airlines in India. He's a very good friend of mine, and he's a pilot, and I've been in his flight. So he was piloting the flight. He had a huge desire right from 7th and 8th standard when I was with him, and he became. But Krishna arranges that intelligence. And if that desire still doesn't end, then he'll make you a bird. Can we desire to fly like a bird? No. Krishna has to help us act that desire. Simple. Some people have desire to swim. So we cannot swim endlessly. But we can desire to end swimlessly. Krishna will give us the body of a fish. So we desire endlessly in this, and right from the day born till the day when you can't even come out of water then. So Krishna empowers us to desire, but we cannot act independently. We need the para and apara shakti, his shakti and this inferior energy shakti, to fulfill our desires. Some people have the desire to be in bhakti. Some people have the desire to give classes. Some people have the desire to put tilaka. Some people have desire to chant. For him, he has given us ISKCON. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
ISKCON is just a desire manifestation of the devotee's desire to do bhakti. ISKCON is nothing more and nothing less. International Society for Krishna Consciousness is just an energy, is just a desire. It is nothing. It is not temples. It is not management of the temples. It is not Rath Yatras, and it is nothing. It is just a collection energy of desire to do bhakti and get Krishna prema. ISKCON is a external manifestation or an environment for a soul. And when I say ISKCON, means the pure bhakti of Krishna. Because I saw pure bhakti in the form of Srila Prabhupada's manifestation in the form of ISKCON, so I'm glorifying ISKCON so much. Because I don't know anything other than ISKCON. And I'll be a cheater if I say I know new things before. Cheto darpana marginam. I was born with this knowledge, and so as of all of you. But we were revived by the nuclei known as ISKCON. It's an environment. So always glorify ISKCON. And that's how we are ISKCON devotees. And everyone practically in the world is an ISKCON devotee. They just forgotten Krishna, that's all. So they'll join, and that's the preaching program. This independence in thinking is there by the grace of the Lord, but the thinking can be given shape by the grace of the Lord, and therefore the common saying is that man proposes and God disposes. Another beautiful example I'll give you. I can avoid giving this example because I'm not the authority to give this example, but you know how you present things makes a difference. So very, very respected His Holiness Loknath Maharaj. Father to me, father-like figure to me, and my Guru Maharaj's god brother and Srila Prabhupada's disciple. So he wanted to get married. and you all know if you don't know, then it's an incident to just see how man proposes and God disposes. So Srila Prabhupada arranged in a temple marriage ceremony, and the girl was selected, and Loknath Maharaj was there. But the arrangement of man proposes, and Prabhupada has helped these matches happen and have even done marriage ceremonies and sacrifices of Havana and all, so that he can settle when he was creating ISKCON. And that's the reason why ISKCON is so strong, because Prabhupada did everything for ISKCON. He did everything with the inspiration and power of Krishna. And so as much as I have heard that the gentle lady, that Mataji, somehow she went away. And that same mandap was used by Srila Prabhupada. And he said, maybe Krishna's mercy. He made him celibate. Just imagine. He's going towards Grihastha, where he'll have children. So there'll be progeny creation, and everybody knows what are the process for that. And imagine he was made a Naishtiki Brahmachari. What a change in the situation for a gentleman. And imagine, I've personally taken his blessings also. I've taken his association also. I've been to his programs and I've heard him. Such a powerful singer he is. And he's himself spoken about this, and he's taken it as so. So I was saved. He says, I'm saved by Prabhupada. My gurus decided that way. So man proposes some way, God disposes the other way. What he did is he gave a shape. He gave a shape. In sales, in IT, we call something known as deal shaping. Now, what is a deal? When we strike a deal with our client, the client proposes something. Client says, I have some issues, and we propose in reverse to that. And when we discuss how are we going to pitch in front of the client, we do some deal shaping. Exactly this happens here in Krishna consciousness. Devotees who surrender to Krishna, they want to shape their lives. They want to propose Krishna. Krishna, I want to do this. Krishna says, okay. And Krishna says, you have some issues. So Krishna says, and we say, okay, I'm going to address these issues like this. Or Krishna says, you have forgotten me. You chant Hare Krishna. And I'll say, okay, I'll attend my office and then chant Hare Krishna. So these are like volleys of between two lawyers, right? Oh, tumne aisa kiya, tumne waisa kiya. You did this, I will do this. And so Krishna, and so the same way Arjuna and Krishna. Same way Krishna is doing samvad, he's doing conversation with every soul like this, keeping them busy by continuously shaping them. This shape, Krishna is able to do it quickly when you desire to get shaped by Krishna. And it becomes easy when you do combined study, means association of devotees. You want to prepare for IIMs and big exams and IAS, Indian Administrative Services, you meet the like-minded people. So when you want to get shaped by Krishna, you meet the other devotees who also think the same. I want to be shaped by the grace of the Lord. So naturally, you have to put tilaka. You have to put your hands in a bead bag. You have to put kanthi mala. I know, I really appreciate Matajis who wear so many. I mean, Matajis usually, and it's not wrong, it's actually in the Shingar Rasa, it's required that they should wear jewelry, and it's not bad. It's actually their, I can say, a woman's right, birthright, or whatever, to look beautiful. Krishna has, I mean, the scripture says this. But when they wear kanti mala and then they wear their Mangal Sutra and some gold chain, it is difficult, but they adopt it. They adopt it. So, same way, it is known as shaping. The whole explanation is on the subject of absolute dependence of the living entities and absolute independence of the Supreme Lord. Oh my God, let's read this. This is very complex statement. It doesn't look easy as it appears to be. Let's read this again. This independence in thinking is there by the grace of the Lord, and therefore the common saying is that man proposes and God disposes. Hear it very attentively. The whole explanation is on the subject of the absolute dependence of the living entities and absolute independence of the Supreme Lord. Less intelligent persons claiming to be on equal level of God. Okay, so here comes the answer. Less intelligent persons claiming to be on the equal level with God must first prove themselves to be absolute and independent. So it is, Prabhupada is actually, see, the explanation in the shloka is about Lord desires to smell, so the smell is come. Lord desires everything in this material world to happen because he desired to be supremely independent when he creates Mamaivam Shoji, like souls like us, you, me, everyone here, and all the living organisms. He creates them with the desire, and he knows that I have a supreme desire. So the best form he can create from him is to create like him. So he does that. And he's very magnanimous. He's completely Swarat, independent. So he can do whatever he wants. So he created souls equally, almost equally qualitatively and almost equally powerful. Qualitatively equally, Prabhupada says. Powerful, of course, not so powerful. But a soul is very powerful. Soul is very powerful. It is very, very powerful. So, like that, less intelligent persons claim, if they claim to be as independent as the Lord, and I'll give you an example. When you meet anybody, and I'm not against any class of sector of jobs or anything, let's take an example of politicians. And I'm not against any politicians, okay? I'm just saying as an example. And a person takes into politics and he's giving speech on the mic and thousands of people listening to him. Believe it or not, he's telling all those people, look, if you give me a vote and my government comes, I'll remove all your miseries of life. Do you all accept this or not? Yes or no? Oh, sab so gaye.
No, we were hearing.
Oh, is it? My mother says, "जो सोवत है वो खोवत है." अभी अभी तो सो के उठे हम सब. I woke up at 5, more than before
No,
5.
Prabhu, we are here. We are listening.
Oh, very, very nice. No, I'm just trying to wake you all up if you are. Otherwise,
No, Prabhu, very interesting.
am I making something point very clear or not? See, Ashish Prabhu and the team is doing a fantastic job. They're giving 4 shlokas. Believe me, I have spent 1 year discussing only introduction of Bhagavad Gita, not even the first shloka. People have said if you read introduction of Bhagavad Gita, you can take 1 lifetime. Here, 4 shlokas of Bhagavatam, like Chaturmukhi shloka. They're not Chaturmukhi shloka, but it's like that. So Bhagavatam shlokas are very powerful. 1 shloka in itself can take universe, what to talk, lifetime to explain. Every word Srila Prabhupada has put the depth of the universe. He himself used to read and understand this depth. So, because we'll read now. So, less intelligent persons claiming to be an equal level with God must first prove themselves to be absolute and independent. Then they must substantiate their claim to be one with God. And devotees become devotees just to give up this feeling. In fact, we give up this feeling of becoming God because I tell you what, my personal experience in this life is let me speak in Hindi because it's my first language. कोई मुझे रास्ता दिखाता है ना, मुझे आसान लगता है. रास्ता ढूंढना मुश्किल है. गाड़ी चलाते हुए भी जीपीएस देखता हूं ना तो डिफिकल्टी होती है. अगर मुझे पहले से रास्ता कोई पता है, लेफ्ट चलो राइट चलो, तो मुझे अगर पहले से याद भी नहीं हो ना, तो क्या कहां जाना है, राइट राइट, कहां जाना है, लेफ्ट लेफ्ट. सबसे ज्यादा टेंशन फ्री जॉब है. To follow is more tension free than to lead. That is why in Krishna consciousness also, whenever we give class, it is very difficult if you're not following and you are speaking. Somewhere in your deep heart, you are convinced that you are not really teaching what you are speaking. I'm asking others to leave sugar, but I myself do not. I mean, every day I need some sugar, some sweet. Then how can I teach others to leave sweet? And they give examples, right? So like that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tado Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. ओम ज्ञानतिम्रान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददति स्वपदान्तिकम्. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुवैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागना रघुनाथं विदं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सह गणललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते. तप्त तप्त कंचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृष्णभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघ्यायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम्. सवैर्मणः कृष्णा पदरविन्दयोर् सवैर्मणः कृष्णा पदरविन्द. श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. Today's class I want to dedicate to my Guru Maharaj, who's not currently well. He was in Chennai. I think he's still in Chennai and some complications with his health. Please, please, please pray for my, and I think Narayani Mataji's is also here. Her
She's my god sister, and her Guru Maharaj and my Guru Maharaj. Sorry, when I say her Guru Maharaj and my Guru Maharaj are the same, Jayapataka Swami. So all of you, anybody who is present here, who is the disciple of JPS and maybe desiring to take initiation from anybody, please pray for my Guru Maharaj. And he needs our prayers from Krishna because he's an exemplary devotee. And we need his blessings more and more. Because of his blessings, today I'm able to give this class. So with this, I would request to move on to the next shloka. So Mataji, who is going to take the next shloka? Or Prabhuji?
Can I, Prabhuji?
Hari, what's your name, Prabhuji? You are the first Prabhu devotee because I see Mataji is taking a lot of initiative.
Subbarao. I'm
Subbarao.
Subbarao, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, you get initiated soon with the help of these devotees here and start preaching. And I pray that you give a lot of good classes. So go ahead, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
II2.10.21. Yadhatmani niralokamatmanam chadidukshataha nirbhinno hyakshinitasya jyotischasru gunagrahaha. Hare Krishna. Have to read the translation also, Prabhuji.
Yes. Translate and purport you and
Translation
then
by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Thus, when everything existed in darkness, the Lord desired to see himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God's Son, the power of vision, and the object of sight at all became manifested. The purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The universe is by nature dense darkness, and therefore the total creation is called tamas or darkness. The night is the real feature of the universe, for then one cannot see anything, including oneself. The Lord, out of his causeless mercy, first desired to see himself and all the creation as well, and thus the sun became manifested. The power of vision for all living entities became possible, and the objects of vision were also manifested. This means that the whole phenomenal world became visible after the creation of the sun.
Hari. So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So before we move to the next shloka, one Mataji can be selected, but let me just put some points here. So when they say that, thus when everything existing in darkness, the Lord desired to see himself and all that was created. Then the eyes, the illuminating God, Son, the power of vision and the object of sight all became manifested. So now what explanation I gave you earlier is limited to my knowledge. But then when you keep reading and saying, Krishna gives you power to explain all this. So now you can very well understand easily is that what is material world's darkness? Understanding. Let's understand this. Jaha Krishna taha nahi Maya adhikara. Maya is darkness, illusion, because that's away from knowledge. Why we are refrained to drink alcohol is because it takes you away from knowledge. Because you may behave and you may divulge out things in that inundated state or in that state where you are more vulnerable, right? Like they give you during the lie detector test, they give you a chemical which just puts you on a small in a subconsciousness, and then all your truth come out. Alcohol is exactly the same. All your secrets come out when you drink. So that's not good for your own existence.
not because you don't want others to know your secrets. Krishna doesn't want us to keep secrets. Krishna wants us to become simple and clean. And head is high. If before coming to this class, I go and watch a pornographic movie and come and give this class, can I give this class? No. Because that's not an act of intelligence. Because the whole material body is made up of senses, which goes uncontrollable. And the power of sex, which is there in the body, is also uncontrollable. And so we water Tulsi and we take Hare Krishna Mahamantra so that mind controls these senses and learns to tame the senses from misutilizing that energy. And why just to talk about one type of energy of procreation? Let's talk about energy of seeing, on energy of smell, on energy of touching the things. So here, the material darkness, when everything existing in darkness means what? Material world is darkness, means it is a place where so much of sense gratification is happening and senses are so aggravated that intelligence and dharma is taking a back seat. And the immediate requirement of fulfilling the desire to lord over material body and this nature takes precedence. And all other things go behind. So there is no place in this world which is dark, even material world, because the shloka says, Jaha Krishna taha nahi maya adhikara, illusion. Wherever Krishna puts Maya energy, the Maya energy will try to take you away from Krishna. So darkness is nothing but away from Krishna. Krishna Surya Sama, Mayara Andhakara. So darkness of material world is nothing but an energy which creates illusion. And so you see darkness. Don't get confused by this darkness. Is when the sun goes away, oh, there is a darkness. That is physical darkness. That physical darkness can be negated if you are knowledgeable. How? You know, in the night, if you get a chance to sleep early because anyway, you sleep early because tamoguna is there. There's no point keeping you alive in the tamoguna. You will end up doing mistakes. So devotees, they try to sleep by 9:30, 10, 11. That's the time, right? For grihasthas at least. Brahmacharis can sleep at even 8:30, 9. But grihasthas, talking very logical, 9:30, 10, 10:30, by 11 at least they are asleep. But wake up early in the morning. If you can sleep and get 6 to 7 hours of sleep is more than enough. So this darkness of material nature is the darkness created by the illusion, the tamas. That's why tamas word Prabhupada has used here. And the night is the real feature of the universe, for then one cannot see anything, including oneself. And that's why here physical darkness also Prabhupada is putting. So the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, first desired to see himself and all the creation as well. So he creates sun and all that. See, the one devotee, very senior devotee to me, he says is when you go to a restroom, Lord goes with you in the restroom. First time when he told me, he said, "Kya bol rahe?" Bolta hai, Paramatma hai tere andar. You are going to restroom, Paramatma is also going and experiencing. If some problem comes to you in restroom, suppose you are taking bath and you fall in the bathroom, nobody in your family will come to know that you have slipped in the bathroom and your head has stuck with thee and you got some, and you are unconscious. Who will know first? Tell me.
Paramatma.
Hari bol. Jagat hai Mata ji, aap jagat hai. Everybody else knew the answer. Sometimes we hesitate to answer. That is why Krishna is present everywhere. And so what will happen is, immediately, I'm just giving an example, don't speculate. Krishna will give some feeling to somebody in your home, or maybe he'll feel, hey, bahut der ho gayi, mere husband ya mera beta aaya nahi, or koi bhi, mere dadaji nahi aaye. You knock the door and see what happened, everything okay? And then, you say, yeah, I'm okay, I just fell in the bathroom. So all this happens. Then you feel, oh, telepathy is there. Oh, suddenly I wanted something and somebody came and gave. How it's happening? Because Paramatma is taking care of us. So he wanted to see us and him. And that's why this creation is there. This means that the whole phenomenal world becomes visible after the creation of some. So now he's giving a material explanation here. That sun is manifested and so the other. Let's move to the next shloka. SP 2.10.22.
Anasuya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dhanavad.
Pranam Mataji.
Podhyamanasya rishibir atmanastajigrushataha karnau cha nirabhidyetam dishastotram gunagraha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By development of the desire of the great sages to know the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing, and the objects of hearing become manifested. The great sages desired to hear about the sun. Hare Krishna.
Sindhu Mataji, you can read the purpose.
Yes, Mataji. Hari Bol. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, by advancement of knowledge, one should try to know about the Supreme Lord, the summum bonum of everything. Knowledge does not mean knowledge only of the laws of nature or physical knowledge, which are working by the direction of the Lord. The scientists are eager to hear about the physical laws working in material nature. They are eager to hear through the medium of radio and television about things taking place far away from them on other planets. But they should know that the power of hearing and the instruments for hearing were given to them by the Lord for hearing about the self or about the Lord. Unfortunately, the power of hearing is misused in hearing the vibrations of mundane affairs. The great sages were interested in hearing about the Lord through Vedic knowledge and nothing more. That is the beginning of oral reception of knowledge. Thank you, Mataji.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So we have two more shlokas after that, but I'll just say some. So by development of the desire of the sages to know the ears, the power of hearing, the controlling deity of hearing. Now this word, the controlling deity of hearing. Now Krishna has created so many souls. And so he engages them in different energies. We are right now using the power of hearing. I am speaking, Mataji was just speaking a shloka, and Prabhuji was just speaking a shloka. We are hearing. What are we doing here? We are using the process or the phenomena of hearing. What is hearing basically? The vocal cords, the matter, the soul intents, then the volume, the diaphragm, this heart is all, it's all physical. Why a dumb person cannot speak is because this instrument of what given in our body is not working. The soul just desires and the body works according to that. But sometimes a dumb man, a blind man wants to see, but can he see? No. A dumb man wants to speak. मुझे बोलना है. मैंने एक माँ को देखा था जो गूंगी थी. वो अपने मेरे रियल लाइफ का एक इंसिडेंट है. वो अपने बेटे से बोलना चाहती थी, उसका बेटा बोलता था और उसका बेटा बड़ा था. मैंने उससे पूछा, बोलते मैंने कभी माँ को बोलते हुए नहीं सुना है, बस मैंने उसके छूने के एहसास से ही माँ को देखा है. माँ दिखती है लेकिन मैं सुनना चाहता हूं मेरा नाम, लेकिन नहीं सुन पा रहा हूं. एंड शी could not speak. She used to wash utensils. She had some goiter issue, an operation went wrong and something happened. Okay. The soul is desiring to speak, but the instrument is preventing to speak. देखो कितनी तकलीफ होती है उस आत्मा को. अगली बार जब आप किसी अंधे को देखोगे ना, तो आपको दृष्टाष्ट को देख के गुस्सा नहीं, रोना आएगा. मैं कहां से एक ब्लाइंड मैन को धृतराष्ट्र से कंपेयर किया. Dhritarashtra was also Janmand. He could not see. That's why he was. So if you think from that angle, you will have some affection for Dhritarashtra as well. But he had a huge hearing power. It is said that he could hear so well that he could know Vidura has come, his son has come, and which 100 sons among them has come, including Vedvyas or anybody who will come. He will know, oh, aap aaye hain. Hari bol. So he misutilized his power to hear, although his power to hear was as good as to power to see, because the power to see by hearing is coming from Krishna. That is why Krishna is known as Shutikshana, one who can be seen without being really seen by hearing. And that is why the question of chanting, they say, can I look into the image of Krishna while chanting? Answer is no. You just hear the word Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And when you hear, you speak, you hear, and your mind meditates on Krishna, you are actually using this concept by which Acharyas call Krishna as Shutikshana. Krishna is so complete, so powerful. When you speak Krishna, when you hear about Krishna, you can actually see him. He's the only person who can be seen by hearing. And so, to a certain example, if somebody knows like Dhritarashtra, he could see by hearing. But he misutilized his power of this. When he saw Bhima coming closer to him, he tried squeezing him to death. But there was a dummy Bhima was brought and he broke, and then that was the first step of realization in that role of Dhritarashtra for that soul. And then afterwards his brother also said, you are in the wrong place, go. And then he went, and then he, with his meditation, he put his body into fire, on which Gandhari did sati, the first sati. Now, I'm not here to say sati was okay or what, but we saw that. I'm not here saying sati is good or not. No, I'm not an authority. I don't want to get into that. I'm just saying what has happened. So please understand that Krishna can be enjoyed by these deviated souls. So Krishna is so magnanimous. He creates this concept of hearing for the soul. When it is entrapped in the matter, how he will see, how he will be able to see me. So Krishna is actually worried about us. Agar main inko bhejta hu material world mein, how will they be able to realize? So he sends Prabhupada, he sends Guru Maharaj, he sends every powerful souls. Chaitanya manobhishtam sthapitam yen bhutale. Krishna's innermost desires is for us to, everybody to know in this illusion that you have to overcome the energy of illusion and focus on Krishna. That's why all this creation manifesting of this cosmic world happens. Let's move quickly to the next sloka. Who will read? Oh, it's a long shloka. We can have quickly. Everybody.
Devotees, I've seen Nav Kishori Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Should I read translation and purport, Prabhuji?
No, shloka also.
The
quickly.
next shloka, Mataji, this 23rd.
Quick as possible. As quick as possible. And we'll have some homework also.
Shloka also? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vasuno mrudo kaఠిన్య lagu guru voshna sitama jigrushaksva nirbitna tasya roma mahirudaha tatra chanta bahirvascha lamba guno vrutaha.
Once again, before you go, did anybody notice this word jigraha is being used everywhere? Did you see this word is common in all the shlokas? It means desire. Let's go ahead.
Thank you,
Leave the
Prabhuji.
synonyms and go ahead to the translation.
Ji Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When there was a desire to perceive the physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, hardness, warmth, cold, lightness, and heaviness, the background of sensation, the skin pores, the hairs on the hairs on the body, and their controlling deities, the trees, were generated. Within and outside the skin is covering of air through which sense perception became prominent.
Yes, Sudha Mataji can read purport.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandat Pranam. Mataji, I'm audible?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, are subjects of sense perception, and thus physical knowledge is the subject matter of the touch sensation. One can measure the temperature of matter by touching with the hand, and one can measure the weight of an object by lifting it with the hand, and thus estimate its heaviness or lightness. The skin pores, and the hairs on the body are all interdependent with the touch sensation. The air blowing within and outside the skin is also an object of sense perception. This sense perception is also a source of knowledge, and therefore it is suggested here that physical or psychological knowledge is subordinate to the knowledge of the self as above mentioned. Knowledge of self can expand to the knowledge of phenomena, but physical knowledge cannot lead to knowledge of the self. There is, however,
Now,
an
this self, what they say is right, capital S, right?
yes, Prabhuji.
So it refers to Krishna, so
Oh.
knowledge of self. That's why the word S has capital. Okay, and when you try to know Krishna, you get covered. So in that way, he's supreme self, and we are his anu self, small self. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. There is, however, an intimate relation between the hairs on the body and the vegetation on the body of the earth. The vegetables are nourishment for the skin, both as food and medicine, as stated in the third canto, Vacham Asya Vinirbhinnam Vivishur Dishnyam Aushadihi. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Quickly, let's have the next shloka also.
Devotees who wants to read. Sunita Mataji, you have raised your hand. Okay. Anyone? Chandana Mataji. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji. Okay,
Chandana
Mataji.
Mataji, you read the shloka and translation. Meenakshi Mataji can read the purport.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. हस्तौरुरुहतुस्तस्या नानाकर्मचिकीर्षया तयोस्तु बलवान् इन्द्र आदानाम् उभयाश्रयम्. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thereafter, when the Supreme Person desired to perform varieties of work, the two hands and their controlling strength and Indra, the demigod in heaven, became manifested, as also the acts depend on both the hands and the demigod. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In every item, we can note with profit that the sense organs of the living entity are never independent at any stage. The Lord is known as the Lord of senses, Rishikesha. Thus, the sense organs of the living entities are manifested by the will of the Lord, and each organ is controlled by a certain type of demigod. No one, therefore, can claim any proprietorship of the senses. The living entity is controlled by the senses are controlled by the demigods, and the demigods are the servants of the Supreme Lord. That is the arrangement in the system of creation. The whole thing is controlled ultimately by the Supreme Lord, and there is no independence either of the material nature or of the living entity. The illusioned living entity who claims to be the Lord of his senses is under the clutches of the external energy of the Lord. As long as a living entity continues to be puffed up by his tiny existence, he is to be understood to be under the stringent control of the external energy of the Lord. And there is no question of liberation from the clutches of illusion, Maya. However much one may declare himself a liberated soul. Hare Krishna.
So are we done with all the shlokas till 10.24, or is one more pending?
No, Prabhu, that's it.
All okay.
Yeah.
So very nice. Anybody wants to? I've been speaking a lot. Anybody wants to put a point here? What have we understood from all these 4 shlokas? And then I'll conclude. Anybody wants to speak?
We have no control. Supreme Lord is the controller of all senses, and then soul.
And
soul, and our living entities.
Okay. Very nice, Prabhu. Any more point anybody wants to put? What have they understood?
And we are always dependent on the Lord. We are not independent. We cannot be independent at all. We have to depend on Lord for everything.
Yes, very true. In fact, we wanted to be independent of the Lord.
Yes.
Actually, Lord wants to be dependent on us, to be dependent on him independently. Am I right or not?
Yes.
Hit
Prabhu.
me otherwise. Hit me in the sense, hit me with your negation. No, you're wrong. Hear this again. Lord wants us to be dependent on him independently. Freedom. भया शोकदा वर्जितः. भय से कोई डर नहीं और किसी का कोई, अरे भगवान से भी डर नहीं, लेकिन प्रभु तेरे से प्यार है. कहते हैं ना लोग, भगवान से डरना नहीं है, भगवान से प्यार करना है. लेकिन अगर हम भगवान से प्यार कहीं मिस ना हो जाए, डरते हैं, तो वो डरना भी फ्रीडम है, अच्छा है, इंटेलिजेंस है. हेल्दी फियर is always good. Kid preparing for exam, a pilot checking his instruments before flying, a person looking before jumping, is all healthy fear. Friction, the word friction means opposing. When we walk, there is a healthy friction that takes away the shoe's sole, that takes away the sole of the tire, that takes away, there is a healthy friction in the air. You beautiful house you create, but one day it develops cracks. What does that mean? You get married to somebody. Abhi now you wagal joda, you just got married, you are so, but after some time, so one devotee had very nice, he said, love at first sight, divorce at the second sight or first sight. Something I heard. What it means is love at first sight and divorce at the first fight. So why when everything is going proper, suddenly something goes wrong? That creates a fear. Oh, I am so much into devotion, but at the end age, I should have so much wealth so that I can give to Krishna and protect myself. Fear, a healthy fear. So devotees are asked to exercise gaining wealth so much that you don't forget everything. Same way, I want to have 1 or 2 kids, more than sufficient. 7, 8 kids, not possible in this world, at least. 100 years back, it was possible. Life was based on agriculture. So like this, there is a fear of losing the current status. But actually this fear is basically a reflection of a statement. Yajna arthat karmano anyatra loko ayam karma bandhana. Yagyarthat
Yagyarthat karmano anyatra. If you desire and act anything other than Krishna in this world, loko ayam karma bandhana. You will be bounded by the act of your karma. This is I sit on the chair and I wake up on the chair. Everything is binding to me. So when I said this statement in one of the class, they said, what do you mean? Sitting on a chair is binding you? Yes, my act of sitting on the chair has to be, if too much sitting on the chair, you will develop health problems. It's a fact. There was a person, I read an article, he was a runner. He kept on running. He developed problem in his knee. So any act you do has a reverse of karma bandhana. Now that karma bandhan can be up to the level of body, or up to the little level of mind, up to the level of intelligence, up to the level of identification, which is ego, or the karma bandhana is done in such a way that this karma bandhana is broken. That is why we say Krishna consciousness as a transcendental knowledge. It breaks all the shackles of bandhana which a soul has to act in this world. So yagya arthat karmano anyatra loko ayam karma bandhana. Other than devotional service, other than anything done to satisfy Supreme God, we will engage in illusory activities. So Krishna creates this entire cosmic manifestation to make us realize this, that prevent yourself from karma bandhana and try to focus on him. So that is why this world is difficult, but spiritual world is even more difficult. Why? Because there the soul, although it's very powerful, has to be in the association of Krishna and always focus on Krishna. The moment you just remove your meditation Krishna, and bloop, you are into the spiritual world, material world. But it is said, to give encouragement to all the souls, it is said we only fall once, and we will be taken back to Krishna. From there we will not fall back again. Punarjanmana vidyate. Because we will have by that time understood that I don't want to get into this karma bandhana. I just want to be in the energy of Krishna, living with him, enjoying with him. And Krishna just keeps you. And that world is beautiful. It is always Chintamani. You can desire a lot, much more powerful desires. You will enjoy much more than what we can enjoy with this body. You should hear Radhanath Maharaj's lectures, and so many devotees speak about this. So with this, we are a little overshot of time. Om Tat Sat. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Excellent, Prabhuji. Very excellent expression, excellent analysis.
Yes, Prabhu, very explained.
Very discussion, Prabhu.
Very,
So thank you, Prabhu, for giving a very practical explanation on these shlokas.
Prabhuji.
And thanks for taking out time in weekend to cover up the schedule. Thanks to all the devotees who have taken out the time and joined the weekend. So thank you all. We'll end the class with the Vaishnava Pranam Mantra. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Hari Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shall I end the session, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
Hari
Thank
Bol.